Alright, quick update on the Bitcoin dominance. So, it's been another beautiful day for Bitcoin hodlers. Bitcoin dominance is moving up like crazy. You can see we're up just over 1% on the day. And you know, 1% might not sound like too much for crypto, but bear in mind the Bitcoin dominance is how Bitcoin is performing against other altcoins in the total crypto market cap. So, for Bitcoin to move up 1% against every single cryptocurrency takes a lot of movement, and that is what we're seeing today. We've got another beautiful bullish engulfing candle over the previous market structure. It seems like we're breaking out bull flag after bull flag, and we might be setting up a new bull flag right now. Obviously, at this moment in time, we are very hawkish. We're pumping up, and I do believe that we're going to be setting up a poll at this moment in time. What do I mean by that? Well, obviously with a bull flag or a bear flag, whatever it is, you have these big runs up. This is the poll. You can see we've got another poll here, and I do think we're in the midst of setting up another poll for the next bull flag. If we come into the 4-hourly time frame, we actually took a breather for the past 8 hours after Bitcoin had its massive run up, but looking at the squeeze mon, we're starting to push up very heavily. Over on Bitcoin as well, I don't want to spend too much time on the Bitcoin price because I really want to focus on the Bitcoin dominance, but we've had crazy amounts of volume coming in today. Look at this. I didn't even notice this. I talked about this earlier, but 38,000 Bitcoin bought in one 4-hourly candle. I mentioned this morning, and we've had another one. Again, we've got 38.7 thousand. These two candles, they're very similar prices, which makes me think it's the same pod of whales probably picking up Bitcoin at the same time, or maybe it's the same person scooping up another buy order. Nonetheless, if we come over to the 1 hour, you can just see this is really crazy. 14,000, 13,000 bought. Bitcoin really does look like it wants to start breaking up bullish, in my opinion. But let's focus on the Bitcoin dominance. So, like I said, we've been channeling. Let's get rid of some of these bull flags, because you can also see we might be getting ready to break out of a channel, and I do think this is exactly what we need to see to set up our next poll. And that's exactly what we've done. We've broken out of a rising wedge pattern, and the last time we had a rising wedge over on the Bitcoin price was right here. I believe we drew this to the daily, which is why it looks slightly weird on the 4-hour, but you can see we had a daily rising wedge here. This looks a lot nicer on the 4-hour, but once again, on the daily time frame, you can see two beautiful rising wedges, and these rising wedges actually ended up, well, depending on how you want to draw these, ended up being bull flags. So depending on how you want to draw the bull flag, I believe this was the best way to draw the bull flag, but you could also draw something like this. Now, I personally think the flag on this would have gone on for way too long. I much prefer drawing it how I previously did, but I did just want to give you an update that we are moving up in terms of the market structure. We are breaking out of the next pattern. There is a ton of momentum coming in over on the squeeze one, which is exactly what we want to see. Daily time frame, daily squeeze mom is the daily squeeze mom is starting to lose a tiny bit of momentum, mainly because we've been trending sideways in this channel, but breaking out of this channel bullish is exactly what we needed to see the daily squeeze mom start to tick over in favor of the bulls. So in my opinion, the way that the 4-hourly squeeze mom is moving up makes me think that we're getting ready for our next major move. You can see, just like we did here, this was at basically the origin of pumping on this big momentum shift over on the squeeze mom. So after we've broken out of this this rising wedge, just like we've done here, we had a big shift in favor of the bulls, and I think that is exactly what we're about to see right now. Once we did it here, we broke out, we saw a tiny bit of green volume coming in, but since then we've more or less been trending up and sideways, and I think this is exactly what we needed. We've been cooling off while heading up, and as you can see, I mean, this candle on the squeeze mob, it looks like we're going to be starting to push up in the light green again. So one last thing I do want to talk about on the Bitcoin dominance is we may be about to break out of another pattern. Now, I personally think that the best pattern that defines this market structure was this channel that we had down here. I think this makes the most amount of sense to me, and like I said, we have already broken out of this. But if you want to draw it a different way, you can also draw on the weekly time frame, because we've got multiple candle body closes here. We've got wicks up to here, wicks up to here, and we are now coming up to our next major area of resistance, which is the 47.67%. If we see Bitcoin flip above 47.7, let's just round it up. If we see Bitcoin flip above, the Bitcoin dominance rather, if we see the Bitcoin dominance flip above 47.7, then this is going to be absolutely crazy. I mean, look at the weekly squeeze, mom. It looks like we're getting ready for a face tear, in my opinion. I really do think the Bitcoin dominance is about to tear faces. And like I said, while the Bitcoin dominance is going up, it is the season to be a Bitcoin maxi. It is not altcoin season. I've been saying this for weeks now, but altcoins are going to get wrecked against Bitcoin while the Bitcoin dominance is moving up. And I'm going to show you some altcoin pairs just in one moment. But I also would like to show you, let's see what happened in the previous market structure over here, because you could have also drawn this two different ways. Like I said, in the previous breakout of the 2008, once we broke out coming into the 2018 bottom of the bear market, you can see this circle here was around the 10th of December 2018. Many of you who are back in the crypto markets back in that time will recognize that date as the 2018 Bitcoin bear market low. However, we basically broke out of this channel at the same time as we broke out of here. And you can see we had a 1 weekly pump above it, 1 weekly back test where altcoins outperformed Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin went on an absolute face tear for multiple months, absolutely wrecking altcoins. And I think that is what we're about to experience right now. I think a lot of people have been watching their altcoins go down, 90%, maybe 80% against Bitcoin, and they're thinking, maybe the bottom is in. But the Bitcoin dominance is saying, I'm about to break out and, smack your altcoins in the face. I think Bitcoin is about to put altcoins to sleep for the next couple of months. It's going to be boring if you're an altcoin holder, that is for sure. At this moment in time, I'm heavily sitting in Bitcoin because I think Bitcoin is going to massively outperform altcoins, and that is what we're seeing right now. There's a couple of other things I do want to touch on before we do wrap up this video. I think we can see the W pattern was over here on the weekly time frame. We broke out of this a little while ago. You can see if we move up the price target, this was predicting, and we were predicting this as well, a move all the way up. Let's line it up correctly to 47.5%, and at this moment in time we're sitting at 47.4. So we're getting really close to the target of this W pattern, and we're also getting very close to the resistance at 47.7. So I do think we are going to see a tiny bit of turbulence coming into 47.7, but does that mean that I think the Bitcoin dominance is going to break down after we come up to here? Absolutely not. I think if anything, we're probably going to lollygag into it for a few days, break above it, come down, back test it while altcoins outperform Bitcoin for a week, and then I think we're going to start coming up to these higher price targets, 50%, 60%. And like I said, if you think your altcoins have been getting wrecked in the past month, the Bitcoin dominance has only moved up 14.5%. If we continue to my price target on the Bitcoin dominance to 60%, then we are going to move up another 26%. So like I said, a lot of people are thinking that, the bloodbath is done on altcoins and that they're so beaten down that they're probably going to start pumping. But, I was here in 2018 when altcoins get, a 90% discount and people think they're cheap. They always have another dip coming, and Bitcoin always bottoms first before altcoins, and I'll give you an example of that in a second. Let's head over to some of the altcoin pairs, and I really just want to finish the video off on this, hammering in why I do not think the altcoins are bullish against Bitcoin at all right now. Let's look at how Solana is performing against Bitcoin. Macro capitulation below the 786. Let's go down to some other pairs. Let's check out, this is how Gala's performing against Bitcoin. It's getting wrecked. This is how ApeCoin is performing. Engine. Zoom out. KDA. KDA is once again getting wrecked. Dogecoin getting wrecked. Crypto.com getting wrecked. JASMY getting wrecked. Tron. Micro bullish, breaking down in the short term. Macro bearish, lower high. Near bearish, capitulating almost down to the 786. So I don't want to go through all of these altcoin pairs, and just to show you that I'm not cherry picking the data, there are some of these in the shorter time frames that are moving up. For example, HNT, I believe that is Helium, is moving up slightly on the daily. GMT is moving up slightly on the daily as well, but Bear in mind, these are not bullish market structures. It looks like a lot of them want to come back up and retest their 786 before they do break down. So with that being said, at this moment in time, I really think that altcoins are going to massively underperform Bitcoin. And I've talked about this before, but just for those of you who don't know, because I'm sure a lot of people weren't here in 2018, I'm sure I've got a lot of people who are new to the market, and I think it's a very basic assumption that people think after Bitcoin has its bear market bottom, that is the time to FOMO into altcoins, because after Bitcoin bottoms and Bitcoin goes up, surely the altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin, right? Well, let's look at a couple of altcoin pairs that were back here in 2018 and see how they perform. So this is Cardano against Bitcoin. This was the 10th of December. Once again, a lot of you know this as the Bitcoin bottom. What happened when Bitcoin bottomed? Well, both Bitcoin and Cardano pumped, and actually ADA outperformed Bitcoin by 127% over the course of a month or two. But what happened after that is Bitcoin came back to confirm the low. It made a higher low, but the altcoins, they didn't make a higher low. The altcoins went down for one more mass dip. And you can see, you know, if you're a macro trader, if you're a swing trader and you plan on buying the bottom and swing trading these altcoins, absolutely go for it. I'm not saying that's a bad idea if you're a capable swing trader. If you're not a good trader, then obviously I wouldn't recommend starting trading with actual real money. But nonetheless, you can see this was where Bitcoin had its bear market bottom, and Cardano did not start outperforming Bitcoin in the macro time frame until 784 days later. It literally trended sideways against Bitcoin and mainly broke down into some lower lows before Bitcoin had its bear market bottom. Ethereum against Bitcoin. Let's look at this one as well. You can see Ethereum against Bitcoin, once again, 10th of December was Bitcoin's bear market low. It went sideways against Bitcoin for 840 days. And once again, this was Bitcoin's bear market low. Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin in the shorter time frames by about 60%. So what is the takeaway of this? At this moment in time, while the Bitcoin dominance is having a massive run up, this is not the time to buy altcoins. I can't emphasize that enough. I think Bitcoin is going down to the 200-week moving average at round about 23,000. And at that moment in time, I will be looking for some short-term swing trades between 3 weeks to 8 weeks. That is personally how long I plan on holding my altcoins. After Bitcoin comes down to 23,000, I'm going to load up on altcoins. I'm going to expect a bounce. I'm going to sell my altcoins within the coming few weeks, and then I'm going to watch it capitulate, and then I'm going to sell my altcoins back into Bitcoin, expecting one last flush out, and then that is the time when I plan on loading up on altcoins. You can see as well, Ethereum did the exact same thing, outperformed Bitcoin in the short term, and once Bitcoin went back down, made a higher low, all the altcoins went back down for one more low. So this is exactly what I'm expecting in the market structure to play out once again. Look at the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is exceptionally bullish, breaking out of another rising wedge. At this moment in time, I would really not want to be an altcoin holder. Within the past 4-hourly candle, this just fairly recently opened, we've got another turn up on the squeeze mob. Just look how bullish we are moving. Let's check out the volume again before we wrap up the video. Yikes! 116,000 Bitcoin bought in the past day. That is crazy. The past 4-hourly candle, like we said, topping out at 38.8. Like I said, I really don't think this is going to be altcoin season for the next couple of months. That's all I've got for the Bitcoin dominance. I probably made this video a little bit longer than I initially anticipated, but I hope you found some value in this. Bear in mind, while the Bitcoin dominance is heading up, altcoins are not going to outperform Bitcoin. Couple of price targets we have for the Bitcoin dominance, 47.7% and 47.5%. That is going to be the first area of resistance. If you see Bitcoin moving above 47.7, I really don't see anything stopping us until we come all the way up to 49%, which is about a 3.5% move from where we are right now. That is basically all I've got for the Bitcoin dominance. Like I said, hope you found some value in this video. If you are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Warm welcomes as always. Cowboy out. Peace.